Page 35, A Waltz by Josef Hofmann. Hofmann was a student of Rubinstein, the previous page guy. He is a famous concert pianist, the first half of the 1900s. His wife, Hofmann's wife, was a well-known piano teacher or pedagogue. So the two of them were well known in the piano circles. All right, so much for the history lesson. Let's look this thing over. It's 1 page long, treble and bass clef, 3 flats in the key signature. Again, we're in the key of E flat major. So make sure you can do the scales and arpeggios for E flat major and C minor, because C minor also has 3 flats. At least 2 octaves up and down. And 3/4 time, well, it's a waltz, so you'd expect it to be in 3/4 time. Now let's take this one hand at a time and make sure we got everything working. Right hand, they want here, 2. That's fine. They give you a natural sign on the D on the half note. You don't need a natural sign. It's a natural anyway. But you just had a D flat in the other staff. So they're just being clear. Make sure it's a D natural. So again, 2 and 3, 1 and 2. Then here. Then they want a 2. I want to connect this. That fingering doesn't work. So I'm going to do a 2 here on the A flat. And then a 3, 1. I want to connect all of that together. So again, from the beginning, it's here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And then second finger. 2. And then reach down 2. Now, again, I don't like doing a 2-1-2-1-2-1 anymore, and I have to. There's nothing wrong with it. You can do it. I don't like this. I'm going to do a 2, 3, 4. So I don't do this. It avoids that. So the end of the first line, you're here. Just come down, lift up and come down. 2. And again, 2, 3, 4. So I connect all these. Now again, the last measured second line, you're here. 2. Well, if you can do the arpeggios, see? This is easy, because that's all that is. And that measure here, that's just an arpeggio. So it's a 2, 4 on that. Use the arpeggio fingering. Back doing what we were doing at the beginning. Now, I don't like the fingering going from the 3rd line to the 4th line, because we're here in the 3rd line, here, and I want 2 here. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 3 on the E flat at the end of the 3rd line. Okay, just 3rd finger, and then I can bring the thumb under it. Now here I am doing a 1-2-1 because of what came before it. I want to connect all this together. And just slide off here at the next last measure. That little grace note, I'll put that in later, right? That's just here. You can leave that out if you want. Just left hand, let's see what it's up to. You got here. No, I don't want to use thumb here and here. Now, if you can, for the last note there in the first measure, use a 4 on the E flat E. Now, if you can. This leaves the little finger available for the next note here. Because if you use here, you got to come down to here again. I don't know how well your hand is working or how big the hand is, so do what you can. Put the hands together. It's here. Now again, when I first put these hands together, I'm just trying to figure out which notes are going down and fingers. Here. It's a little tricky. Take your time with it. If it helps, just take it like a couple measures at a time. Let's say the first two measures here. Just work on that. Get that where there's no hesitations. Keep it slow, but no hesitations. When you have that, then put it aside. Start with the third measure and go here. Just make sure you start third finger here. And when you have that, okay, then put the whole first line together. So then now the second and third measure in the right hand, if you use third finger on the A flat, then you use fourth finger on the B flat. Here. If you scrunch up, you can use second finger on the A flat, then use third finger on the B flat. Either way, put the thumb on the C. So you're either use 4 or 3 here. Pick one. Pencil it in, whatever it is. Here. Anyway, you take it carefully, just a measure two at a time, and work it out. No hesitations. And then think about the articulation and the grace note. Connect these. Lift up. Lift up. Sometimes you have to lift up, you got to move. The idea is like taking a breath. You're cutting that one note a little bit short so you can lift up. See, all of that is connected. This is 3 measures of eighth notes, starting with the third measure, the second line here. All of that's connected. Then you lift up. And you have accents then on some of these notes. Look out. Third line down. Last measure. That's an accent on that half. Just play a little louder. And then, that grace note at the end. People don't agree on how it should be played. A lot of people will play it right before the beat. It'll be by itself and it'll go here. There. Other people, like me, will play on the beat, so I'm going to play those are together and it's up there. Here, and I'll delay that melody note just a little bit. It's interpretation, and people have never agreed on how these should be played. The only thing they agree on is it is a really short note. It's not done rhythmically, it's just a really short note. Now this left hand, you connect what you can connect and don't worry about the rest of it. Just it's the right hand. It's the right hand phrasing we're after here. Then the dynamics, mezzo forte, left hand is soft. Can come down a bit. Mezzo piano. It's not a set come down to here. You just come down. What do you feel it? And then start there and go back up. You swell. Here. There's a lot of swells in this where you just go. Third line down, you have a crescendo at the end of the second line. You're moderately loud. That's all. And then come down and go back up. That accent on that half note at the end of the third line is going to make that half note a loud note. Because mezzo forte, the accent takes it up one notch. But really you're at mezzo forte here. And then you're staying there and go up again. You're up to loud here. Then come back down. You just read the dynamics. So keep the left hand out of the way. Speed-wise, this is a moderate waltz. You have slow waltzes and fast waltzes. The last one was a fast waltz. Well, this is a moderate waltz. That has to be accurate. So if you have to, play it slow at first. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, somewhere in there. Now they've added pedal. Now we kind of need pedal here. We'd like the overtones and we need some help to connect things. It's going to be overlapping, and go ahead and pedal like they're showing here is fine. See, they're changing with the harmony. So all of these different chords, they're changing it each time. If you want to hear the phrasing, you got to lift the pedal up with the right hand though, so we hear the phrasing. It's up to you. Be careful on the eighth notes so you don't smear them up too much. You have to listen carefully to it. The second line, last two measures, we're just pedaling the first beat to reinforce that, you know, it's 1, 2, 3, 1. That's all it is for. But in the third line, that third line, because the retardato in there, don't smear it. Listen carefully, and if it's getting smeary, you got to change the pedal. Then the odd tempo will take off again. And then you have the retardato at the end. Slow down. Don't copy me, please. You get into it. You play it. If I played this 10 times, I'd play it different every time, I'm sure. I play by feel, and I keep experimenting with the pedal and the sounds and the phrasing and all.